Peep the concrete chronicles, my secret origins honest. Every hustle's first appearance, putting paper on the harness. Got a super villain plot twist for the crooked politicians. Me and my crew are heroes on a whole different mission. They see the flashy jewels, that's just a secret identity. My real superpower is surviving this vicinity. Doing the uptown lowdown, know what I mean? Doing the uptown lowdown.
Welcome to Secret Identity News Podcast with your host, the tenacious T-Dubb, and I am your savvy Savage Jody. We are here to bring you news, reviews, discussion, and maybe a few laughs about everything in the comics, TV, movie, and media landscape. How you doing today, T-Dubb?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Doing all right?
I'm all right.
That's good. Yeah, man.
Today.
Man, a whole host of stuff going on. I tell you, man, we've been talking throughout the week since the last episode about all these ridiculous rumored castings and stuff coming all across the internet about all these comic movie roles that they got playing with the reboot of the X-Men franchise at Marvel to the Spiderman movie tie-ins and upcoming Batman stuff. So a little bit of that in the news. We decided to talk about some of those rumored castings, which ones are absolutely not true, which are not so bad, and which are good, if any. And then that's going to segue into our conversation for this week's episode about comics. You know, what are the best runs of comics through the writers, the artists, the collectives that actually make these movies or have made these movies that we've grown to love, and which haven't made to the big screen. What are some of the comic franchises, the biggest icons, their biggest stories that have made it to the Bristol board and in our grubby comic book hands at comic conventions and comic stores, and which storylines we would like to see or castings we'd like to see. So I thought it'd be pretty interesting to shed a little light on the stuff and experiences we've had with the stories and things of that nature. So first up, Batman news. As you know, following the news before, actually this was announced before San Diego Comic-Con last month, the Matt Reeves Batman, the Pattinson Batman, Pat-Bat, whatever you want to call it, got pushed back from October of next year until February of the following year. And, you know, whatever the rumors are true and what happened on why it was done that way, you know, some people said because James Gunn is introducing the Batman in his Gunn universe before that movie comes out. Other rumors have been that the script for the second Batman film wasn't good enough yet. So a lot of different things that have come to light about it. Well, some news today where supposedly Matt Reeves has gotten approved to write the Nightwing Red Hood movie, the dynamic duo. And so he's going to be doing 2 movies, which I don't believe that's true because
I don't believe it's true either.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I also heard today that Matt Reeves now has 2 additional animated movies that are coming out that are going to be a part of his movie universe. This is nonsense, dude. This is people talking out their butthole.
Yeah, because they're saying that this new Bat Family film with Nightwing and Red Hood is separate, but in the same universe as Batman Part 2, which, I don't know what to believe. It doesn't sound like they have a clear roadmap of what they want to do and what's going on.
There's going to be a Nightwing in a movie franchise that still doesn't have a Robin. That doesn't make sense.
No, none at all.
None of it makes any sense. So this could be...
Unless they're getting rid of the canon for what's been known.
Oh boy, I tell you what,
Yeah.
I can't win for losing, man. These guys are just batting 1,000.
Left and right, and it's not just DC, it's not just Marvel, and it's not just DC. It's both. It's like they're trying to get over on each other, but
I don't believe it's true.
The process.
I don't believe it's true. Everybody's talking out of their
Yahoo
hat about what's going on in DC, and nobody knows what's going on in DC. Supergirl didn't do well. James Gunn is going to lose his job in a couple of weeks at DC, and DC comes out and says everything's fine. We completely trust him. And then they're like, Matt Reeves and James Gunn aren't seeing eye to eye on his Batman movie. My understanding is that James Gunn's DCU has nothing to do with Matt Reeves' Batman movie, so why does it matter? And then now,
it doesn't make any sense.
And now these other things. I have mixed feelings. I don't feel like Matt Reeves has made a good Bat film yet, so I have trouble believing that that he's going to get a knockout of the park on this one. Yeah. I don't foresee them giving him. It seems like his second movie is on the bubble. So if his second movie's on the bubble, why are they supposedly giving him more things? I think this is somebody's wish dream about what they hope is going to happen, just like the Snyder Bros hope that Gunn is going to lose his job.
Yeah.
It's just there's just too much people talking out of their butt. I just saw the funniest. As a segue, I just saw the funniest post today. Let me break for a second because this is actually kind of funny. I'll share it in the episode too. I screenshot it because it was hilarious. It's the first time I saw honesty in advertisement in a long time. It says, this is from a webpage called Cinemagoon. It says, opinion, Kevin Feige's... What's this guy's name? Feige. Kevin Feige released the brand new day Clearwater cut. Yelena isn't the only one in hot water, as Kevin Feige recently came under fire for his decision to place Black Widow in inexplicably opaque blue water during her Spider-Man Brand New Day scenes. Fans are calling for the release of what they're calling the Clearwater cut, and by fans, I mean me. I just thought that was hilarious. Was hilarious.
And you mentioned Snyder a few minutes ago. There's rumor that he's supposed to be coming back to DC to do a Dark Knight Returns movie.
This is also nonsense, and the reason it's nonsense is because Snyder already did a Dark Knight Returns. Snyder stole all of his scenes from BVS from Dark Knight Returns, so he would just be making the same movie over again. This isn't Snyder hate. This is just what Snyder does. Is Snyder, just like he did in The Watchmen, he takes iconic panels from comic books and he recreates them in film to, Watchmen, there were some amazingly accurate scenes in that movie. It's just he seems to always drop the storytelling part of the story. He already did this. He already stole all the scenes. The armor from BVS was basically ripped off of the armor from The Dark Knight Returns. A lot of the scenes were ripped up from Dark Knight Returns. In fact, when he announced he was doing BVS at Comic-Con, you can find a video of it. He held up a copy of Dark Knight Returns, and he said he was going to bring it to screen. Oh, so, people are talking out of their butt, man. DC's not going to say, oh, by the way, remember that movie that did real well? We want you to do that again. This is just Snyder Bro cope. Just like the whispers about... There's also, in case we haven't mentioned it already, there's also whispers that Snyder is going to be doing a movie for Marvel. The rumor is that Kevin Feige, or whatever his name is actually aiming to have him be the director for one of the Mutants movies. Which, I gotta tell you, you're gonna have a great looking movie with a lot of really cool still scenes that look exactly like they they are in the comics with a very low fidelity with what you want to see from those characters. So, I mean, that's been his track record so far. Yeah, and that's not hate. That's an honest opinion. I mean, that's and that's an opinion of a lot of people. Like Watchmen was a great looking movie, but he missed the mark on how to tell that story. BVS had some cool looking scenes, but he just doesn't understand the ethos of the characters. So we're just going to keep repeating the same mistakes. It seems like fan cope.
Yeah, it's a lot of people out there trying to do a lot of wishful thinking, and it just ain't happening for some of those movies out there. I was going through a lot of the news. Just seems to repeat itself. Mostly, it's just rumored castings, stuff that we already know. X-Men '97 is coming down to its final episode that airs this week. So the 9 episodes went quick. We'll be covering it probably in a future episode because we did the first 3. Not a lot have changed if you haven't tuned in, so I'm not spoiling anything. It just seemed like they just went in and picked a bunch of stuff that happened in X-Men comic books and threw it on the screen where the story doesn't make sense. It's all out of continuity from all different eras. If it was a cartoon about highlights of X-Men stories told in comics, then yeah, it'd be spot on, 10 out of 10. But because they're just like picking things and throwing stuff at the screen, or people say throwing it at the wall to stick, that's what it's getting like. Now, don't get me wrong, I am excited to see some of the characters on the screen for the first time animated. I think the animation in this show is a step above the animation that was done in the first cartoon. Just with the power signatures itself, some of the follow throughs and the fight scenes, I think it's really, really crisp. You look at the anatomical differences in figures, the composition of the scenes. It's on a higher level. I mean, probably because they got a bigger budget than they did before. But with all that said, more onto it. There's a lot more I would like to see if it was done. I mean, make it make sense. I mean, you got perfect examples of how stories are told from the comics to the silver screen to the movies and to the animated screen. I mean, with Invincible, you got 156 some issues of source material, but they break it up really well into chapters, into progression, things following along as it should. Now, are they doing every panel from every page of every issue of every comic that they've done? No. It would take them, I think Kirkman said it would probably take them 7 seasons probably to get that full story out there. So that's not what they're aiming at. They're trying to tell a story with the elements of the source material, but make it make sense and make it fresh as well.
Not what Marvel is doing. Marvel is trying to make that show exists almost entirely on fan service, which, if you listen to my complaints over the last couple of movies, that's what they're doing in the movies too. Even Brand New Day is popular as it is good as it turned out. It spent a lot of its effort on fan service, and I kind of feel like if we had a more concise Spider-Man movie, it could have been even better. They used Jean Grey as a villain as an opportunity to sell the X-Men story instead of giving Spider-Man a chance to have his own rogues. What shocked me is they had more rogues in that movie than I thought were in that movie. I knew that Tarantula was in it, but I didn't realize Boomerang was in it. There was a still scene with Boomerang in it too.
Yeah, he was in it.
I was like, what? So you had no less than 5 Spider-Man villains in that movie, and none of them were the villain of the movie.
Tombstone was in it. Yeah, there's just a bunch of supporting.
Tombstone, Tarantula, Boomerang, Scorpion, and there's another one. I can't remember what it was.
Now Tombstone was he was actually cast in the Black Lightning CW DC.
I didn't realize that. No, I didn't realize.
Yeah, he was the villain in that. In Black Lightning,
Was the makeup the same?
I mean, he's kind of like has like a albino type of.
I know, I've seen him.
Yeah, and
but he's got filed down sharp teeth in the Spider-Man one.
Yeah, in the Spider-Man one.
I just didn't know if he looked like that in the Black Lightning.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be in it because he was one of my concerns when I started hearing the story and the Jean Grey rumor. I was like, "And Tombstone's going to spit in here somewhere." I didn't realize it was just them, like 1.2 seconds where they reproduce a Spider-Man cover. You know, it's like
the Marvin Jones III is Tobias Whale. He plays Tobias Whale in the Black Lightning show.
I did know he was Whale, but I didn't realize he. Okay, so he played. Here we go again. This is just what we were talking about before. We'll get to that. Well,
I mean, but he's a smaller. I mean, you know, he's.
A lot of people
didn't watch the Black Lightning show, but yeah.
I know, but still, like, it's a big world. There's a lot of actors out there. There's thousands of people in the Screen Actors Guild. Why do we keep reusing people? Yeah. You know, and it's not like you're fishing from a small pond like you used to. It used to be that people were afraid of sci-fi and genre typecast, so they would stay away from these roles. So if you go back to the 90s, not everybody was willing to sign up for a comic book movie because they were worried they were going to get stuck in a loop of people only being interested. But now you got people like Glenn Close rallying to be a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy because she was like Nova Prime, right? You know, it's like it just was it Nova Prime? Yeah, I think she was. Yeah, she was Nova Prime. So like, you know, we don't live in the same world anymore. You got actors going out of their way to be part of these movies the way actors were going out of their way to be in Batman 66. So we don't have to keep reusing the same actors. So get a new Rolodex, people. Stop calling the same people.
On the same guys. Yeah, I mean, now we can speak to and attest to some of this stuff worked out well because the roles that they played before were very minute, very small roles, and we actually got to see the better of them when they were recast into better roles. Case in point, the guy that played in the X-Men First Class movie and then became Mr. Terrific. That was an excellent choice. I think that was one of the few examples.
Eddie Gathegi. Well, I think there's a
awesome.
I think that he was a misused character and he was treated like a background character in that movie. He wasn't treated with any dignity. So like I don't mind if it happens once in a while, but it's like almost a guaranteed thing now that you're going to be in another movie. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
I remember when Chris Evans was cast as Captain America. The people scoffed at that. They were like,
I think Chris
Storm from the Fantastic Four films.
I think Chris Evans is the actor that's been in the most comic book related movies of any, because he was in the movie we were talking about earlier, not The Losers, which was The Losers, which was a Vertigo comic book. He was in He was a great movie with Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it, and I think it had
Idris Elba's in it, right? Yeah.
Had a woman in it. I can't remember who it is. Anyways, so you had The Losers. You have
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana. That's who I was thinking of.
Idris Elba played Rogue. Zoe Saldana played Aisha. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was Clay. Chris Evans was Jensen. Oscar Janata was Cougar. Couple of other ones that played. That was a good movie. I remember 2010 that came out.
Yeah, Chris Evans is The Losers, Scott Pilgrim, the train movie. What the hell is that train movie called? Ah, man, why can't I remember this movie? the Snowpiercer, Captain America, plays Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four. It's just like how many times can we recast him in a different thing? Like, can we get this guy a break? I mean, I love him. I think he's a great Captain America. I think he was a better Human Torch than the Human Torch we got in the new Fantastic Four movie. But
you're right. Chris Evans holds 14 films. The ones that you named, Curtis and Snowpiercer, and voicing Casey Jones in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actually counts.
That's right.
The record holder is Stan Lee with 38 plus films.
Oh, screw that guy.
Yeah, I know. And then you got Samuel Jackson, Robert Downey Jr. got 12 or more. Hugh Jackman has about 11. So, yeah.
But I think when you're running up, they're talking about running up. They're running up their number by being cameos in other films. Chris Evans was a featured actor in all these films.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
he was.
Yeah. So like I love him. I love him. I got fan goodwill for him. That does not mean I want you to keep casting him as different people in a different universe. So
could you see Captain America being played by any other actor besides Chris Evans?
Absolutely, because he has to be at some point. Do I think it's going to be as good as Chris Evans? It's going to be a hard sell for me.
Who would you say now if they had to recast him?
This is that trap. This is that trap we just talked about. We talked about this before we started the show. I'm critical of people from the genre being recast. And I'm critical because the studio has an opportunity to cast people that I don't know. They can have an open casting call and bring 1,000 people in and find who the right guy is for the job. All I have to do is pick who I think would be a good replacement. Who would I think would be a good replacement? For Steve Rogers. This is tough. Let me think on it.
Yeah, think on it. That's cool. You got so
on the conversation of casting, I've got one. This one popped up in my feed in the last week. Apparently, Adam Driver's role, according to CBR, in Marvel's X-Men reboot has been revealed, and they seem to indicate that it is Sebastian Shaw, the Black King, which was my prediction a while back. So,
but where does who?
Now, I hear you.
I just don't think about the type. Yeah,
but hang on a second. If you've got Emma Frost in this movie, you probably got Sebastian Shaw in this movie, so it's probably right. So if he's Mr. Sinister, then where does Emma Frost fit in? So it seems as if they're casting the OG X-Men. I saw a report that Angel and Iceman are going to be in this X-Men movie. So if you got Angel, Iceman, Cyclops, Jean Grey, you've got the original X-Men. So it wouldn't make sense for the original X-Men to just go headlong into Mr. Sinister unless they're setting up for Archangel. But that would be an Apocalypse thing, right? So they're not going to do Apocalypse again. I think Sebastian Shaw is probably right. I'll put the article thing up here.
They've been talking about going with a older Magneto because they would have to in order, if they're going with a younger X-Men cast, they have to go with an older Magneto for him to have the Holocaust involved in his.
But they're not going to do that. Life. They're not going to have the Holocaust. They're just not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. This is the status quo reset is way beyond that. Just like Iron Man's origin was originally Korean War and now it's Afghanistan. So we're way past that. We're not going to roll back to that point. That's going to be left with the Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart version. Like I almost said Picard version, but Patrick Stewart version of the character. This will be, maybe they'll pivot and make it like the Croatian genocide or something like that to maybe draw a parallel to it. But at the end of the day, the world doesn't need the parallel anymore. The world understands racism. That's why I think we should get the hell away from all this mutant hate BS. But it's obvious we're not going to do that because they hate us for no reason.
Pretty much.
I can't finish. I was going to make a joke, but I can't finish because that's part of the spoiler review last week. Spoiler: they don't hate them for no reason.
They don't.
No, they don't.
Shoot. Let's get, since we're talking X-Men, let's go back to the.
Hey, I got one thing. I got two things to do before we go into the deep discussion of the episode. Since I just did my Mr. Sinister topic, I have to cover the I Told You So tour because apparently, Millie Alcock wins Best Actress in a superhero movie for her performance as Supergirl at the Critics' Choice Awards. I'll put that right there.
And she found out that people related to her were the only people that could vote because she didn't deserve that.
Millie Alcock gets the last laugh over Supergirl critics with major award win. Because she got an award, she didn't do anything. She did what they asked them to do. I'm so glad you're objecting so wholeheartedly to this. The Nerdist puts out an article last week that says, "We thought Supergirl was a perfectly fine movie. Review and comments." My point is that the whole world is going to turn tail and act like, no, we're not the ones that hated it. All those other people hated it. We liked it. We liked it good. But since you last week when we were talking about Supergirl, you had a very strong reaction to it. I believe you're. I'll put it right here. Actually, you are crazy hyperbolic with your hate about the movie. I am not saying it was a perfect movie.
There's no hate. There's no hate at all. I don't hate the movie. I can't stand it.
I believe your response was, "I don't hate it. I just can't stand it."
Yeah, that's what I said.
Right here. It's going to be right here for you guys. To commemorate this, I made a very special design for a T-shirt in our store. I will also put that right there.
Put it there. I'll wear it if you just don't bring up any more mentions of that awful movie.
I hate, man. I'm going to bring it up every time it comes up because this is the I Told You So tour. I said it was going to happen, and here it is. But while we're on the subject of new items in the store, we also made a new Nick Fury shirt. With
Nick Fury.
with a review from our very own listener James. It says, I'll put that here too. It's Nick Fury in the Secret Identity logo. It's a 3.5 stars from James saying, "It's basically good."
Basically good.
It's basically good. I
know he.
So everybody gets represented. Also in the store, we have the Sam L. Jackson version, and it's basically better.
Basically good, basically better. Wow, that Nick Fury is next is Duke and Flint. Let's bring on the shirts.
Oh yeah, I could do Duke and Flint. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. Coming soon. I'll
drive it like you stole it.
That will be the tagline on the Duke shirt.
Drive that
on the Flint shirt it'll say, "Order dinner, Duke."
Dinner's on me. That's it. Those are check out our store for those awesome T-shirts and to support us as well. Jody did a great job designing them, and I will definitely be wearing a couple of them on the show to show the support on that. But thinking back to the X-Men movies, when they first came out, year 2000, it was different how stuff was promoted. You didn't have social media to ruin things. You had magazines, you had talk shows with the actors on there. You had behind the scenes specials that came on Friday and Saturday nights or Saturday mornings. You just had a lot of speculations, the ads running in your comic books. But the build up for the X-Men films, aside from what you saw as the preview, I mean, that's what you were getting first and foremost. It was like, wow, I'm going to see a movie that's got, Wolverine, it's got Cyclops, it's got Storm, Halle Berry as Storm, it's got some lady playing Jean Grey, bunch of stuff going on. Yeah,
I'm not sure that's a lady.
Yeah, you saw in the did I send you that where the person that she did a comic convention?
The guy they wouldn't let him near her.
Yeah, had to stay like.
I'll put that picture up here too. I think I did him a favor.
Like a whole yardstick away from him or something like that. But somebody riffed on it on a Jaleel White appearance this past weekend at a show where Steve, the guy that plays Steve Urkel, he has the yardstick and he has the fan pulling on the yardstick, and they get closer and closer in each picture, and then they're hugging. So he put that to sleep, and he gives everyone's hugs. Now we don't want to get into the Chris Brown meet and greets because this is a family show, and we won't be talking about what goes down in those meet and greets. You saw about the guy that divorced his wife. They were at a Chris Brown concert. You know how much those tickets are. Him and Usher are doing a joint tour right now where they're performing together on the tour, and they usually pick these women out of the crowd to come up and dance for Usher. Well, one story was that Usher got a girl up there that didn't like him. She complained of his body odor and all this other stuff, and didn't want to be on, being caressed on stage with him while he's dancing for her. And the Chris Brown one was just the opposite, because he's known for these women to pay thousands of dollars, and he's hugging and they're jumping in his lap on the pictures. Well, some guy wife went up on stage with Chris Brown, and she got it on with him in the concert, and the next day she was served with divorce papers. The guy was humiliated. So yeah, to each his own. That should have been in the Hazy Eye thing, but anyway, you never know what secret identities.
He means the pre-show.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't let her steal the pre-show from you guys. You guys got to get over to Patreon. He's saying it's just for her now.
I can see it. I can see it now because everybody's like, dude, what are these guys smoking? Hazy eyes? My eyes ain't hazy yet. So that's what that is. Purple haze. Oh, did you hear that Blue Beetle's coming to Superman Manor tomorrow?
I did. Well, I shared some stuff about that a couple episodes back. If you remember?
Oh yeah. You were talking fast. But the X-Men movies, I guess I wasn't worried too much about, because going into the X-Men movies, I didn't know who Hugh Jackman was. So
it was a different time back then, though, dude.
Yeah,
we didn't get these movies. We didn't get movies, so we didn't complain about what we got, But in hindsight, Halle Berry.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I like that. I like that feeling as well. I'm not saying it can happen now, because it can't. But I remember that feeling going to see X-Men, not knowing I didn't know nothing about the plot. I didn't know what was going to happen in this movie. The only people I knew in that movie was Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Halle Berry as Storm. I knew of Ian McKellen. The guy that played Toad, Ray Park, who was the Darth Maul actor from Star Wars prequel.
Wasn't Darth Maul yet, right?
But that's it.
He is Darth Maul, but he wasn't Darth Maul
yet.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah.
I didn't think.
He was.
Where did that come out?
X-Men.
What, 90? Well, I didn't think episode 1 came out. Yeah, you're right. Episode 1 had come out before that. I agree and disagree. I think that's some nostalgia glasses you're wearing, Telly, because I think if X-Men came out today, you'd be furious about that movie. I think that X-Men suffered from the same kind of problem that most superhero movies at the time came out with, that they wanted to be covert about being superhero movies, so they shied away from everything that was superhero about them. Muted colors, they had black leather costumes and jokes about spandex. They were totally disrespectful to the source material that they were based on. So, and we have fond memories of them because they're what we got. But if that movie came out today and it was as disrespectful to the source material as it is, I would hate on that movie. So I'm not going to spare it any lashes in hindsight. It's just like.
But I mean, it's what we had. I mean, we can complain up and down that the early on movies they didn't use a lot of the source material.
I will complain about that, absolutely, and I will take it to my grave. I'm never going to give them. In some cases, they change things that don't need to be changed. They're afraid of them being what they're supposed to be. The only exceptions to that were the ones that really took off were Blade, because it was not. I wouldn't say it was totally well known that Blade was actually a comic book movie. So they got the stealth effect. The black leather costume was so much a part of the character in the comic they didn't really have to advertise the fact that they were changing something about him. And I think that's why Blade took the world by storm. Because it was a comic movie they made in earnesty. But most comic book movies weren't made in earnesty. It wasn't until the next generation of movies, when you started talking about Fantastic Four, which was really made in earnesty, for better or for worse, it looked like the Fantastic Four, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, the Fantastic Four was more faithful than some of the other movies that came out.
I agree. I didn't hate the Fantastic Four, but I do hate the Fantastic Four. I didn't hate the Fantastic Four movie, but I think Fantastic Four is cheese on the page. It's it's 60s science 50 schlock on the page. So how could you expect someone to make something in earnest that is going to be Fantastic Four without it being cheese? I feel like the modern Fantastic Four was cheese.
I didn't see the new one, but I wasn't a fan of the comic book. But
that's my point, though. Is I'm not a fan of the comic book. They have their place in the MCU. I understand their role in the MCU, but I was never picking up a Fantastic Four comic book and going, "Yeah, this is the coolest." It was never going to happen because I just feel like it's a relic of a bygone age, and I don't understand why we keep doing it. I mean, weird opinion here, but I don't feel like the Josh Trank Fantastic Four was a complete abortion. I feel like their treatment of Doom was really, really bad. But I feel like some of their takes on the Thing and Mr. Fantastic were actually kind of cool. I like the Miles Teller Mr. Fantastic.
It was very dark. I remember that movie.
I mean, it was filmed very dark. I agree with you, but I kind of feel like
you can see their faces in some of it.
But I kind of feel like he was taking a page from the book of Mr. Snyder, where this is a goofy superhero thing, so I have to desaturate all the colors and film it really dark so everybody doesn't know that that's what it is.
Yeah.
Just like Nolan did.
Yeah, the X-Men movies, for what we got, I think it got its point across. Could they have gone in a different direction and gone a little bit smarter? I think they could have. I'm just afraid in this new rendition of X-Men, they're going to go all crazy with not really using the source material effectively to try to fit it in, because they're bringing the X-Men in after these two big juggernaut movies with Doomsday and Secret Wars. So whatever they have happen in there, where they plant the seeds for the X-Men, there has to be a need for that. I mean, if they skip and not use the mutant thing, then
they're going to do the mutant thing. But I think what you're missing is that I strongly believe that after Secret War, all the timelines are going to be collapsed. So the mutants are going to be in the MCU, but no one's going to know that they weren't always there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be as if they had coexisted all along. Essentially the same. Everybody's going to be basically memory wiped, just like everybody was memory wiped that Spider-Man didn't exist.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the best way to go about it is if they have a variety of things that they could pull from, with, Magneto, if they do the Sebastian Shaw thing, and if they do the Apocalypse. Well, I don't know. Apocalypse kind of seems like a stretch.
They shouldn't be doing Apocalypse. The problem with the X-Men coming into the MCU is they got to do something different because there's been a lot of X-Men movies. There's been more X-Men movies than there have been most other franchise movies. You can't be repeating the villains. So maybe bring in Magneto, but I think even Magneto's a stretch. This will be your third cinematic Magneto. We've heard this story, okay? So unless they're going to bring him in as a good guy, but you kind of already had that in First Class. So they need to go in the direction of Mr. Sinister, but I got to tell you, I think Mr. Sinister is a really weak villain. I think he's always looked cool, but hasn't done jack stuff. So they're left with the worst of the worst. They're like, what do you got left? You got the Brood. Maybe you can mix with the Shi'ar Empire, but that's that's big and off-world, and then you're going to be messing with the Nova Corps, the Guardians of the Galaxy space stuff. What's there left for them to do? I mean, it's obvious they're going to do the mutant hate stuff because they hate us for no reason. There's a reason.
I don't know. It's up in the air what they want to do with a new X-Men.
There's another actor that got recycled, by the way. Oscar Isaacs played Apocalypse. He played Moon Knight. So,
oh yeah. I mean, I could see them. Like I said, I heard a long time ago that the other end game is, again, the thing that you hate is when heroes fight heroes. Mm-hmm. Is they're going to turn this around where the X-Men are going to be fighting against the Avengers. Because why else would they be recasting them and bringing them back? They're going to eventually get to Avengers versus X-Men. They did that storyline a few years ago. Whatever that storyline ended up being, I have no clue because I stopped reading X-Men and Avengers a long time ago. So, I
have no doubt that that the X-Men and the Avengers are going to punch each other in the face because that's all Marvel ever does with their heroes is make them punch each other in the face. From Civil War to Spider-Man and Hulk to every other movie that they're always punching each other in the face. So what? That's going to happen inevitably. Do I think that the goal is for them to build up to a Avengers versus X-Men film? No, I don't believe so. I mean, first off, because they're de-aging all the X-Men, that would be a friggin' bloodbath. And then was he gonna let the school bus off and then just have all the adults punch the kids in the face? But then again, what's left of the X-Men, right? So,
yeah, that's true.
What's left of the Avengers? What's left of the Avengers? That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, unless they do the new Avengers, which who knows what that roster would be.
I mean, the new Avengers against the X-Men would be a bloodbath because almost none of the new Avengers are powered, except for the ones that are overpowered. You got Black Widow, you got Bucky, you got, David Harbour. It's technically got super
Oh,
soldier serum. Good.
yeah. No, I was looking at some of the runs on X-Men from years ago that were good, that were standouts. I
That's the
remember.
problem.
Uh,
The problem is with X-Men runs is that you're either doing villains that are already done before, or you're telling stories that carry so much baggage you can't tell them yet. You can't tell any story that hinges on Cable, so Executioner Song's out. You can't tell Fatal Attractions because that's Magneto. Magneto's been done. I mean, technically, Wolverine's even had his adamantium pulled out in the movie. That's the problem with them cherry picking all these plot points to make their movies. They've been cherry picking the best parts of these movies to make their movies for 2-3 decades now. So now it's time to make a serious movie. They're like, we can't do that. We'd be doing it again. So they really have to blaze their own trail. You know, even the cartoon is doing the Genosha story, so like you can't even do that one. It's just like
you can't do any of those.
And thank God, because that's just more mutant hate bull stuff. You know, it's like
yeah. I mean, unless they come up with that way not to do the mutant stories, is if they do Scarlet Witch to say no more mutants, and they do it
how
that
could you
way.
do it?
Right?
Well, I have heard that they're going to bring Scarlet Witch back into the mutant saga. So like, which is just another one that's like, how? Because she's not a mutant in the MCU. She was made with one of the Infinity Gems. But why would you do no more mutants when you just got mutants? You know, it's like it just doesn't make sense as a plot line. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to think like, what are some iconic X-Men runs? You know,
I mean, I liked Extinction Agenda, but that's a far stretch. I don't think you could do that.
Well, that's the Magistrates, right? That's the Genosha stuff.
Yeah.
Genosha's a direct consequence. You got the Phoenix Saga, which was done by Sophie Turner. You got Days of Future Past, which was done in Days of Future Past. God Loves Man Kills, probably the only one that hasn't been covered. Mutant Massacre, so that's... Well, you do the Morlocks. I mean, you know, if you did the Morlocks, it would give you a way in to tell the story about the mutant hate, but tell it in a different context. But tell the stories about the mutants that are too different to pass. But, you know, Jareth and I were talking about this, man. The whole X-Men thing doesn't make sense because plenty of Avengers or Avengers adjacent heroes don't look like regular people. So why would the X-Men be an exception to that? Where, oh, well, we don't like him because he looks different. Why would the casual person understand there's a difference between a mutant and no mutant? It just doesn't make... the mutant hate just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. E for Extinction, Age of Apocalypse. Can't do Age of Apocalypse. It's too new. Like, you're not introducing your universe just to do something Age of Apocalypse. House of M, we just discussed we can't do that one. Whedon's Astonishing X-Men. That's a possibility.
Yeah. They could probably do that.
I think if you get a couple of movies under your belt, you might be able to do the virus that killed Ileana. You know,
Legacy Virus. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you probably wouldn't do the Legacy Virus coming from Strife, but you could do the Legacy Virus.
That came up in my source material.
What's that?
Do you remember? I remember you were a fan of Executioner Song. Do you know that? Do you remember that Strike File was the ending to Executioner Song and what happened in that book? There was a bunch of profiles, and then at the end it shows Professor X destroying the evidence of I think one of the Jean Grey's sister or something like that.
Well, right. That was right. That's the character that they just can't say. Just people haven't seen the movie.
Rachel Gray, right?
Rachel's the daughter. Rachel is Rachel Summers is Phoenix 2 from Days of Future Past Future. She when they destroyed the timeline, she got trapped in the present. She eventually became a part of Excalibur, I think.
I think that was the last part. So it says it says the comic framing device. It was a 1993 X-Men one-shot written by Fabian Nicieza and Scott Lobdell. It includes several years' worth of foreshadowing of Lobdell and Nicieza's X-Men plot lines, most notably the Legacy Virus plotline. The comic framing device was that the files in the one-shot were on a CD-ROM found at Strife's base by Bishop and handed over to Xavier without telling anyone else about it. After nearly 24 pages of text and picture files, most of which were taken from the trading card inserts included in the individual issues of the crossover, the book ended with a closing sequence where Professor X destroys the disc rather than showing it to Cyclops and Jean Grey. The book contained entries for Graydon Creed, Threnody, and Holocaust prior to their first appearances elsewhere. Graydon Creed would appear as a villain 2 months later. Threnody would appear 11 months later, yet Holocaust would not appear in the X-Men comics until the alternate reality of Age of Apocalypse storyline. The version found in that storyline differs from the one found in Strike File in the Age of Apocalypse. Holocaust requires a containment suit and is very talkative, while the Holocaust in the files does not need a containment suit and is a silent killer.
Well, you don't have. I was just thinking, they could do the Omega Red, but you can't do Omega Red. You don't have Wolverine.
Well, I saw on a post today that Henry Cavill is supposed to come back as Wolverine in the Secret Wars. I'm like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
I'll put it up here too. Or that stupid kid. It's down for you. It's always down for you. Yeah. That stupid kid that plays the bully in Stranger Things. Stranger Things fans, if you're out there, listen to me.
No.
You have to stop. You have to stop. You got one with Sadie Stink. Mm-hmm. You got Sadie Stink. Stop trying to put your stranger people in our movies because it's getting ridiculous. They're like, hey, he should be Miles Morales. Why? What's his qualifications? He's black. It's just like there's more than one of those. Let's shop around a little bit. But they were saying the Mully Bullet kid, the mullet bully kid, should be Wolverine. Like, the dude hasn't grown his first chest hair yet, and he's supposed to be, when Telly and I shared this, I was like, Telly, do you know who Wolverine was actually based on? And he's like, no. Well, I shared a picture of what he looked like. A far cry. I'll put it up here, too. It's a far cry from what this twink from the Stranger Things show is actually going to look like. Just like, I mean, you can age down all the X-Men, but the guy that's supposed to be 100 years old when he meets them the first time, you can't age him down. I'm sorry. You're not allowed.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen at all.
How about the Phalanx? I mean, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, but what do you got left? It's like, I'm just trying to think of something else they could do, and the Phalanx saga is maybe the only thing I can think of. Maybe after a couple of movies. They've literally already done, or they cherry picked. The only one I can see that they could do that they've never done, and it still involves Magneto, But do Magneto and the Acolytes with Avalon. No, Exodus. Exodus was his name.
Well, they did him in the cartoon just recently. If not to spoil it, but yeah, I like that character.
I like the design of the character. I think the character has potential. I think he's dead in current continuity. But
one of my characters actually was had some inspiration from Exodus. I'll let you guess which one.
Sabretron.
Yeah. So
I can see.
Oh yeah, Joe Quesada actually designed that character. His first appearance was in X Factor '92 with the hologram.
Well, you know what they say about the sun occasionally shining on certain parts of a dog. Good job, Joe Quesada.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Is that his first appearance? Is that his first appearance in Fatal Attraction?
Yeah, X-Men '92.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the Acolytes and Exodus didn't happen at the same time, but
X Factor '92. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand that the Acolytes and Exodus didn't happen at the same time, but I think that would be a pretty cool thing to see on screen. A pretty cool character.
Yeah, with today's special effects, they could pull that off.
I mean, and the other thing is that you're kind of limited as to what you can do because you got training wheels. X-Men. You're going to have the original 4 X-Men, dude. We're not talking about a robust team. Like they cast Lawson as Storm apparently. I saw.
I saw that.
So she's official. So she. I mean, I don't know how well she's going to do, but she looks good. So. So
that's the woman from Sinners.
Yes.
Is that the one from Sinners? Yeah.
Yes, that's her. Yes.
Yeah, evidently people were sharing an interview she did on the red carpet for Sinners, and immediately people went online and just started flooding her inbox. You should play Storm. And it got back to Ryan Coogler, who's the Black Panther director, and he helped her get an audition for the role. But it was the way she carried herself when people actually heard her talk, and they were just like, "Oh yeah."
You know, if I had any criticism, and maybe it's just because all the pictures I see of her, they're sporting a similar hairstyle. I think she looks a lot like the girl they cast as Monica Rambeau. So. That's not an issue for me, but I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. I like the girl they cast as Monica Rambeau too. Unfortunately, she's attached to a character they try to force down everybody's throat, so it's hard to love her. And her first appearance was in a show they also had to force down your throats because she got her powers from Scarlet Witch.
Oh, that's sad. I was flying down my tongue. John Cipher passed away today.
I actually screenshotted that. Yeah, the original Man-at-Arms from the Motu movie back in the day, that he died today. And also...
He was 94.
Also, I caught this. Where did I put it? I put it in my feed. He wasn't the only one that died today. That's Telly. I put it in the feed myself. Reggie Bannister from Phantasm played the old guy with the ponytail in Phantasm.
Yeah.
Age of 80. I know that's probably more James news than the podcast news, but hey, if you haven't heard James, dude from Phantasm.
Rodney too. Give a shout out to Rodney Self. I know he's a big horror fan.
Well, they say they come in threes, so let's see who's next. Yeah, I'm literally skipping through X-Men stories right now. I'm looking at X-Men stories in a search, and they've really screwed themselves because Fox has already done a lot of these stories, or they've already cherry picked plot lines from the stories to make it work. it's too soon in the franchise to go to space and do the Shi'ar Empire stuff. I don't know what they're going to do. They've cast the X-Men as so young, you can't even have a Gen 2 X-Men. You can't even have Season 2. You can't even have the core X-Men training the new batch of X-Men. You can't have Blue and Gold because they've cast the X-Men so young. It's just Blue.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix Saga's been done. All the stuff's been done. So, jeez. Oh, man. People were sailing around the rumor that Timothy Chalamet as Gambit. Man,
yeah,
that kid, come on, man.
No, I couldn't see that.
We're gonna glue some stubble on his face. The kid ain't got his first pube yet.
Yeah. I don't know what they're getting at with these. It's crazy.
It's just this fanboy wishful thinking stuff. Oh, I like him in this other thing. He should be in this other thing. And that really gets us into bad places. If you guys have an idea of something that could be a good storyline for an X-Men movie, send it to us. Send it to us on social media or through our email.
Remember, if you want to contact us, you can reach us by email. secretidentitiesmedia@gmail.com. contact@secret-identities.com. Or on any of our socials, secret_identities_media on Instagram, sec_ident_media on X Twitter, secret_identities_pod on TikTok, or just search Secret Identities on Facebook. You can find links for these in the show notes wherever you found us, on the title card at the end of the show, or just scan the QR code on your screen for our link tree.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, them trying to cast Mel Gibson as Wolverine.
I'm not saying he'd be bad at it, but
back in his heyday, yeah,
they dodged a bullet on that one after what turned out with that guy. It's crazy ass racist religious thing going on with him. Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like Disney's a little bit screwed. They're gonna have to either blaze their own trail or they're gonna have to retread some old ground. And I think that they're gonna get crap for it either way. No matter what they do, they're gonna get crap for it. So the only way I could see to go out would be the second iteration of Magneto after the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. If you go with the Acolytes and you make it kind of like a near religious conviction, then you might be able to get a good story out of it. And because you're introducing Exodus could be kind of a pivot point. So you could kind of make him the bad. You can have him turn on Magneto because Magneto's soft on the X-Men or something towards the end.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, everything I'm looking at, unless you do like Whedon's Astonishing. But I kind of feel like Whedon's Astonishing picked up baggage from the universe and kind of told stories with like Cyclops. It wasn't completely its own story, right? Was that an alternate timeline?
No, it was continuity.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
even that's probably a possibility. And plus, everything with Whedon's got a stink on it too. People, if you made a Whedon movie now, the people would criticize you for doing that because all the whack stuff they said about him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something different. There's some of the X-Men runs that I enjoyed, excuse me, as a kid was, or younger days, of course, the Chris Claremont, Jim Lee X-Men runs, the Uncanny X-Men 275 stands out as one of my favorite books. And a lot of artists that I admire, it was their favorite as well. And that was the one with the fold-out cover, Jim Lee and the X-Men and the Shi'ar Empire, 275. It's right before it was Uncanny X-Men 275.
Look at that.
Right before the Savage line.
Yeah. I remember it, yeah.
Very fond memories of that.
Yeah, but that's never going to make it to a movie. Not this one anyway.
Oh, nah, dude. Hey, the budget would be insane.
They pull it off with a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. They could pull it off, but I just kind of feel like the X-Men have to get their story established before they can start mucking around in outer space.
Mm-hmm.
Heard a rumor they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy 4. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
how are you gonna do that?
Well, they're gonna do it without Gunn.
Yeah, but would the rest of the cast show up?
Well, I think as of the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, most of the cast was out anyways. You got to remember that Zoe Saldana is a Reaver. Quill is on Earth. Batista's not going back.
No, he's not going back.
Karen Gillan might, because she hasn't had a lot going on other than the Jumanji movies, for which they're making another one, by the way. I saw the trailer for it when I went to the movies.
The filming just wrapped on it, yeah. They're cashing that thing out, boy.
I like the characters. I like them. I just I don't think the quality of the second one was very good. Yeah, so like the only ones left were Groot and Rocket Raccoon, right? You had Groot, Rocket Raccoon, and then
you know what they could do? They'll recruit new members, but right before the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie came out, I think it was this was way back in 2010. They had a reiteration of Guardians of the Galaxy, and Angela was part of the team.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, dude.
Yeah, not on the screen.
I don't see that happening. I don't think that. I think Marvel would be wise to leave that character out of the MCU. The character's got a storied history. Who knows who actually owns all the media rights for it? Because there's so much. I mean, there's a reason why Jaime Reyes exists. Jaime Reyes exists because when Fawcett was Shazam. I can't remember. Carlton, when Carlton Comics was acquired by DC, they owned the characters, but in examining the contract, they realized, oh well, this wasn't really a consideration for film when we bought the characters, so we can't really own it outright in all media forms. So they recreated the character as Jaime Reyes because it's something they could own in whole. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the reason why Renee Montoya became the Question. It's the reason why Jaime Reyes became... so like they basically replaced all those characters. Now they've been stepping out of that a little bit because Peacemaker's technically one of those characters too. But because of the whole infighting with Todd McFarlane and Neil Gaiman and that character, as far as I know, Marvel never really fulfilled their end of the bargain that was supposed to get them Angela in that Gaiman deal. Because they were supposed to reprint his Miracle Man comic books that never got published from his original run, and they never did.
Frozen like Billy Ocean. Yeah, I've never seen the third Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
I heard it was really sad.
If you like animals, it's a lot. It's interesting how they made Rocket is such a big character in those movies. I like the Rocket character, but he's not played for laughs in that movie. I mean, is it my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy? Absolutely not. I mean, but it's interesting. I'll say if I had to rank them all, including the Christmas special, yes, there's a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
I would say it's probably. I don't know. I think it's probably 3. It's probably 3, maybe 4, maybe 4. I think the Christmas special is actually better than it.
Wow.
It's just very heavy. It's very heavy. There's funny humor in it. I mean, all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are my kind of humor. When I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy the first time, I thought, oh, this is my generation Star Wars. Because it had everything. It's like when you do sci-fi, a lot of times sci-fi feels artificial. It doesn't feel lived in. And that's one thing that everybody liked about Star Wars is that Star Wars felt lived in. It felt like things didn't work all the time. Things were broken. Things were dirty. And I kind of feel that like a lot of sci-fi misses that, and Guardians of the Galaxy did not miss that. Nothing worked all the time. You know, things were always broken. So it's, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should watch it. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies aren't navel-gazy like the rest of the Marvel Universe movies. Like, look, I'm not crapping on the Marvel Universe movies, but the Marvel Universe movies had a real serious problem with existing only for fan service and then giving you really terrible plots. And I guess it's because the Guardians of the Galaxy universe is so much smaller. It had some of that fan service, but it wasn't so choking that it messed up the storylines. So, and then the guy who plays what's the name of the villain from that movie? The High Evolutionary. The guy who plays the High Evolutionary in that movie. James Gunn was so impressed with him that he did the Peacekeeper show. He had to have him as Myrn. So, James Gunn's all about like finding awesome relationships and just trying to carry them out to different movies. So, that's why he's been trying to find. There's rumors that he's looking at Chris Pratt for something in the DC universe. Some people would speculate it was. Some people were speculating that it was Plastic Man, but recently he's had some talks with, what is that kid's name? Shaggy. Guy from Scream that played Shaggy on Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah.
Matthew Lillard. Before I even looked it up, I figured it out. So some people are speculating now that Matthew Lillard might be cast as Plastic Man.
Yeah.
I mean, to use a crude turn of phrase, you got to have hair on your ass to put Plastic Man in a live action movie. Because that's going to be hard. I mean, it is really hard to pull that off in earnesty. And I like the fact that James Gunn doesn't take his movies so seriously that he's not willing to swing for the fence like that. But, you know, I mean, technically, Mr. Fantastic is the cooler version of Plastic Man, even though he's not as much fun. But if you can't pull off Mr. Fantastic in the movie decently, then how are you going to pull off Eel O'Brien? You know, even in the CW, they did Ralph Dibny, and the actor they hammed the character up so much it was ridiculous. That's when the CW started jumping the shark.
Yeah. Yeah, they. I was thinking when I was thinking about possibilities for the show, this episode. What if they casted and did a real Flash movie? What would that consist of? What actors and how would that look? I think a more serious Flash movie under the James Gunn umbrella, where they actually thought that was thundering and lightning. I don't know what that was. With Thawne, the Reverse Flash, more of the Rogues Gallery, and a serious Flash. I think that they have so much good source material. I mean, would they do Flashpoint? No, but elements of it, Flash Rebirth, the Manipul Flashes that you like, Gorilla Grodd. I think that would be a fantastic movie if they take all the elements right and make the movie, find the right actor. I think it could be a good movie. I think it would be a great solo movie if they did that.
I'm got a controversial opinion here. I think if I had to pick, so we had to make a Flash movie for the James Gunn universe. I think I would make a retro Jay Garrick movie. Not because because, like, first off, James Gunn has created a comic book universe where Peacekeeper can walk around with that big, stupid metal helmet on, right? So, like, this is the only time you're getting an opportunity to make Jay Garrick with the Doughboy helmet. And I feel like you could make a Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman-esque period piece Flash movie, kind of insinuate the what's it called? The Justice Society. Insinuate the Justice Society into the world, and then the next time you see Flash in the DCU, it could be the modern version. Yeah. So your second movie could pick up with a whole different version, or you could introduce the origin of the second Flash in one of the other movies, and then not have to worry about the origin. So you could basically do his origin the way they do Spiderman in Civil War, right? Spider-Man's first time you saw him was in Civil War, before his own movie.
Mm-hmm. So you could put one of the Flashes in Man of Tomorrow, like a cameo, and then maybe have Reverse Flash and one of the Flashes running around changing everything, and then you get it set up for the movie, and then you do a sequel out of that. Yeah, I could see that happening. I think that would be good.
Yeah, I think that the Jay Garrick character has just never got a chance on film. We're still pretty close to the CW version, who cherry picked a lot of those Flash storylines that kind of messed it up for, so, like, I really think you need to do something to get your distance from it. And then you got the Ezra Miller character to deal with. So I kind of feel like if you went with Jay Garrick, you can give somebody a whole lot of breathing room between the worst memories of Flash in modern history and then the unceremonious ending of another Flash. But I would be completely about Grant Gustin coming back to the DCU as Flash. Just, we play these multiversal games all the time. Because they've de-aged Superman so much, he would fit perfectly in this new film.
Yeah.
Apparently he wanted the CW show to end, though. It was causing him anxiety. Yeah. It was just too much. Yeah. The work schedule, the pace was just too much for him. So, like, I think he might come back if it was for film.
Yeah, I think he would too. I would love to see him as Flash again. Yeah, I thought about that. I said, wow, because I remember the runs on the books, man. Pretty exciting book. Some of the artists like Francis Manapul, Brett Booth, and I thought it was really, really well crafted. Jeff Johns did a really good series as well. So
my problem is I don't want Barry. I want Wally. Because
what's the difference there? Why do you like? I guess because I was a casual DC reader back then.
Yeah, but you watched Justice League Unlimited. You watched Justice League Unlimited.
Well, Wally, what's the difference between
Wally? Well, I mean, Wally is the fun Flash. You know,
okay.
Barry has got the whole "my mom died" baggage going with him. So, like, where Wally is just kind of like, you watch some of Duffy's stories from the JLU. You know, he's the guy who's late to everything. He's the fastest man on Earth, but he's late to everything. There's an episode where they did an episode completely from his perspective, and you find out that the reason he's late to everything is because he stops to help everybody on his way to work.
Oh yeah.
So the Justice League is digging him because they're saying you're immature and you're late all the time. And the truth is, he's helping more people than all of them. He just can't help himself but stop and help people. Where when you got the, you know, because I'm thinking of the Manapul run on the Flash, and that's just kind of circling the drain of that same, my mom died, my dad's in prison, and then you had the Iris West's brother thing where he turns into their version of the Reverse Flash, and then you have the real Reverse Flash. It's like, there's so much baggage with the Barry Allen character. You remember Barry Allen was done most of our comic reading life. Barry Allen died in Crisis and didn't come back until the New 52. So it's just kind of a contrivance for him to be the Flash of record, because he hasn't been the Flash of record for decades until not too long ago. So you know, let's bring Jay Garrick in, get some distance from both of those characters, or let's just skip Barry and tell some stories with Barry in hindsight later, and have some Wally time, because John Stewart is. If our Green Lantern's gonna be John Stewart, that's Justice League Unlimited. Let's make Barry, let's make Wally our Flash. That's Justice League Unlimited too. And of course, voiced by Michael Rosenbaum on that cartoon. I just
I remember that. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, so I think that I would say if we can't do the J story, I think the J story would be kind of a cool opportunity to put some of that history into the new DCU and do like a Wonder Woman-esque period piece with Jay Garrick. I don't know who I would cast, because it's one of those things where I could pick somebody, but I'm just going to pick somebody from my recent memory, and it's going to be somebody that I've already seen before.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, I thought a Flash movie would be sick. My vote is for Grant Gustin. I really enjoyed watching him.
Now, if we went with Grant Gustin, he'd almost have to be Barry. Because if they brought him in and they're like, "Hey, this is Wally West," I'd complain. I'd be like, "That's not how multiverses work."
Yeah.
But I'd accept it. I liked Grant. I think that the pilot episode of The Flash is probably the best single episode of a superhero show ever made.
Yeah.
I think that it'd be hard. I mean, I watched. You got that? We got a leaked copy of that. Remember?
Yeah.
And I watched it off of a jump drive like 6 months before it came on TV with Jareth.
Yeah.
And Jareth was so excited when that episode was over. He jumped up off the couch. He ran outside. He started running up and down the street. If you could make a superhero movie that's good enough to make my kid run, you did a good job.
Yeah, yeah. That
we're a runs when
that,
chased family.
that was a good. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good time.
Yeah, so like I got
Yeah,
no problems with Grant Gustin.
Uh, yeah. That was good memories. Very good memories. Yeah, the Flash was something else. I like the the, the various runs. Um, I was trying to think of another. Seeing the Spider-Man movie last week got me checking out some of my Spider-Man comics in my collection. Uh, the Eric Larson Spider-Mans. I pulled out the Return of the Sinister Six and the Revenge of the Sinister Six.
Is that
He
the one
did
with Demo Goblin?
the Return of the Sinister Six was done in Amazing Spider-Man, and then the Revenge of the Sinister Six was done during the regular Todd McFarlane adjectiveless Spider-Man series run. It had Deathlock in it, a bunch of people in the crossover, and then there's an issue. Huh?
Did you hear that thing on DA Experience a week ago about Deathlock?
No, I missed that one.
Blew my mind, man. I'm telling. That's the name of the show, right? DA Experience. Might as well plug. Good show. You guys check out on social media. Check out a dude called DA Experience. Big on TikTok. He's on Instagram.
He's out of Baltimore.
Yeah, he does little snippets of like comic book history, like 30-second like retrospectives on characters. Apparently, Dwayne McDuffie had been tapped to write a RoboCop comic book. And he pitched it, and they decided to go another way with it. So he got stuck in his head, like, so he made a version of an older Marvel character with the same idea as RoboCop, and that's how the Deathlock you remember, the one you're talking about from that comic book, came to be. I had no idea that was a Duffy thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was mind blown. Yeah, great show, guys. If you want to check out DA Experience, he's got such good information there. He's got such cool takes. He really loves this stuff, So like, it's like infectious listening to him talk about it, or if you meet him at a show or something. It's really cool.
Yeah, very, very nice dude, very good dude, very knowledgeable. I was checking out some of the Larson books, man. There's this splash page of him fighting the Hobgoblin, and he jumps through the window. It's a splash page of Spidey jumping through the window and punching the Hobgoblin in the head when he's flying past on the glider. And it must be a million pieces of glass in this splash page. And I just remember it like, man, that is just awesome. Like, no webs, no nothing. He jumps straight through that glass and just whocks the Hobgoblin right in the top of the head. And I always remember that page like, man, it must be a million pieces of glass on that page.
Now that Larson run that's running through Amazing, is that a part of the Powerless saga? I think it was, right? Because when he was hanging out with Deathlock, he broke his arm. He ended up having to get that cybernetic cast.
Sling, yeah. I think that's the same story.
Yeah,
no. That's a different story, but yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, because he had a monocle and he had a metal arm just like Deathlock had.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, that was I have fond memories of those books. The Powerless Saga. That's the first time I ever saw, during the Eric Larson run, was the first time I ever saw that Spider-Man fight the tarantula. I love that cover. When he's in the Powerless Saga, he's standing there like this on the cover, and Tarantula's running up from behind him because he doesn't have his spider sense.
Oh, I think, I do remember that one, I believe. There's one of the covers there. Just sent you.
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the exact one I was talking about. That is
Okay.
Spider-Man 21.
Yeah.
Adjectiveless. Spider-Man 21.
Yep. I'm trying to find this picture of the one where he's jumping through the glass. Nobody scanned it.
There it is. I'm talking
What's
about
that?
Amazing Spider-Man 341. That's the book I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely Eric Larson, too. I had a copy of this, and it had trace marks all on the cover, because
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, Larson did. Oh, this is it. Save image. Whew. That's the splash page. I remember that. I actually tore it out of the book and had it hanging on my wall.
And that's definitely Demo Goblin, too. That's not Hobgoblin.
Oh, Demo Goblin? Okay.
It looks like Demo Goblin.
Or was it Hobgoblin? Maybe it's Demo Goblin.
Maybe it's a version of Hobgoblin that eventually becomes Demo Goblin, because I don't know. That I'm trying to think. Like, you might be right, because I think Demo Goblin might actually have a blue hood, not an orange one.
Mm.
Yeah, Demo Goblin has a blue hood. That's Hobgoblin. But he sure as hell don't look like regular old Hobgoblin in that image.
Mm.
What issue was that? This is
that one right there.
We're making great radio right now, but okay, go ahead.
That was dang, what episode? That was trying to remember when that was.
It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out offline. I just
it's right here in my stack. I was just looking at it.
I can figure it out. I'll use Google Glass. Reverse image search.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it is.
It says Amazing Spider-Man 334 through 339.
Yeah, it's the exact issue it is, though.
That says it's Spider-Man issue 6.
No, it's not that.
That's
one of the Sinister Six. Yeah, I got this right here, sitting here. See?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a weird run. Venom's in one issue. Fox is in another issue. That's a crazy run. There we go. Dynamic panel captures Spider-Man crashing through a glass window to attack a villain. Okay, yeah, this is it. Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 348. Sandman. Doesn't say anything about the Goblin, though. Either way, it doesn't matter. Sorry, yeah, we're going.
Oh, you're good.
We're running long and we're wasting time at the same time. So everybody's like, hey,
went off on a tangent there.
Yeah. That is, other than the Hobgoblin saga by John Romita Jr., that is my Spider-Man right there. Like my fondest memories. The thing that got me locked into Spider-Man was the Hobgoblin saga with John Romita Jr. Eric Larson's Spider-Man is the Spider-Man that made me go, that's what I think Spider-Man should look like. And at first, I didn't like it. At first, I was like, why is his costume blinking? It doesn't make any sense. But in hindsight, I like how expressive it is.
Yeah.
But, actually, come to think of it, after our podcast last week with all our Spider-Man talk, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dive back in and I am going to look at. So I rewatched the first two MCU Spider-Man movies.
The Tom Holland's?
I kind of forgot how boring Homecoming was. I don't think it was a bad movie, but I was just like, wow, like it's amazing how much praise got heaped on that movie, because like Keaton was excellent. But there was so much high school drama in it. Like I just couldn't believe how much high school drama was. I was like, I totally forgot that was in there. And then I watched the Far From Home, and man, it earned its low place on my list because, like, Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, I almost said one. Like, I like Holland.
You got the expression like Far From Home was like the Two Towers and with them damn talking trees and Lord of the Rings.
I mean, look, I like Holland. I like Zendaya. I like I can't remember his name, the kid that plays Ned. I think they've got a good element on their side. I think Mysterio was a bottom shelf villain for that movie. I think it being some stupid B plot for stealing Stark Tech was a stupid thing. I think just like the Night Monkey not having a suit thing is just like what the hell, man? Like
packages at night.
It feels like a fever dream, man. Like I don't think, I mean, it wasn't a horrible movie, but man, I'm telling you what, in the pantheon of Spider films, the only reason it's not on the total butt end of the list is because of Topher Grace and because of Jamie Foxx. That's the only reason that movie didn't rank lower. You had to have a really, really bad movie to rank lower than that movie. And then and you add the weird leading into, here's the stuff, man. Here's the stuff that Marvel ruins their movies with. They wanted so badly to tease the idea of their secret invasion thing that they're running on Disney Plus, that they used it as a C plot in that movie. Yeah. And
I remember
that. Yeah, I don't want to get negative. I thought the movie's cute. I like Tom Holland. I like Spider-Man. I like all that stuff. I kind of feel like I got to eat my words a little bit because I was kind of crapping on. I mean, I stand by the fact that the Spider-Man in the MCU is dumb compared to Spider-Man in the comic books. But I was arguing that it's proof that he's dumb that his girlfriend can fix his tech, but I forgot that they're all whiz kids. When I went back to Homecoming, I didn't realize. I realized, they're all like athletic, academic decathlon kids. They're all super smart kids. That's why they were going on the thing that they were going on that took them to DC in the first movie. Yeah. So I eat my words a little bit on that because they were all smart kids all along, and two of them are going to MIT. But I just still think he's supposed to be one. He's supposed to be like matching wits with like Reed Richards in the MC
Banner
in the Marvel in the 616. But in the MCU, his girlfriend's solving his math problems for him. It's just like there's a mad disparity there. Even if she's smart, he should be smarter than that. So, But I just want to say that they were pretty fun movies. But like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at those comic books, man, when you had the Revenge of the Sinister Six and the Return of the Sinister Six, it's an idea, and I just think, if you have to change the villains that's in it because you've already done Sandman in it, you can have another character, maybe throw the Prowler in there to update it a little bit. I think if Tom Holland he wasn't a part of this big MCU where he's got to be involved in Doomsday and Secret Wars and so forth, that if you had your own contained Spider-Man movies, I mean, they have a wealth of storylines they can do. There's a Larson story in that Amazing run that we were just talking about, where the Punisher is on the cover with him. And I need to dig up that one and read it because I just, playing off the latest movie, I want to see how they interacted. I'm just curious to see how that goes. But yeah, I think that those were good books. I'm a fan of the McFarlane, mostly for the art. I think the stories were better with Larson, even though he wasn't writing them full. But I thought that was really good. Another supporting character that was in the last Spider-Man movie was the Incredible Hulk. And I'm a huge fan of the Hulk. I mean, I got posters in my background. I was a big fan of it. I think Peter David and Dale Keown's run was my favorite, and I have all those issues. I thought Peter David and Dale Keown's Hulk was pretty awesome, especially to see the origins of Dale Keown.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm surprised. Of course you have. It's Dale Keown, but like it shocks me that you're like praising something written by Peter David.
I mean, I thought, I do like the Savage Dumb Hulk more than the Smart Hulk. I think right after Dale Keown left is when they got more into the Smart Hulk, and I wasn't a fan. I stopped buying.
Yeah, you had Smart Hulk, you had Doc Samson, you had Hulk was working for a group called the Parliament in that run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
you had there's a heavy involvement of the leader. Then you had Doc Samson, and then I can't remember that guy's name. They used to hang out with the Hulk. Like something weird, like Nick Jonas.
Nick Jones.
Nick Jones. I said Nick Jonas. Jonas
Brothers. He comes way later. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just I think I bought some Hulk books, but just they never really did much for me. I think the only Hulk book I can remember reading was that weird one I told you about where, when, was it Valentino or Silvestri was supposed to write it, but then he broke his arm. Silvestri, right?
Silvestri, yeah.
Yeah, that was, I'm not going to go into what happened in that run. I mentioned on another podcast.
This book I found in my collection, Incredible Hulk number 350. And I forget the artist's name. Our buddy James knows it, but this one was special because I remember buying this issue from 7-Eleven where we lived at in Maryland. My dad bought it from me from 7-Eleven, and I just recently found it in a collection. And I remember this was a fight. Dr. Doom was involved, but it was a knockdown, drag-out fight between the Hulk and the Thing in a park. And the last splash page in this book is the Incredible Hulk punching the head's Thing into the ground and just walking away. I mean, he just literally, they fought underwater, they fought all through the park. And I remember him just slamming his fist in the back of his head into the ground. And the Thing couldn't get up, couldn't do anything. And I'm just like, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care where the story went after that. When I'm in the 7-Eleven and I'm on that squeaky spin rack and I'm flipping through this book and I see that, I'm buying that book cost 75 cents.
Crazy.
Back in I don't even know what year it was.
92?
I have to look it up. Well, this was probably before then.
You think so?
See who that is. Trying to see who the artist is. You know, these pages are so foggy now.
What's the number?
1988.
Ooh. I should have known by the 75-cent price tag.
Yeah. Penciler was Jeff Purves. It was written by Peter David.
Yeah, Peter David had an extremely long run on the Hulk. He's just one of those characters he claimed ownership of, like Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah. It was a great book.
That was when that's the Return.
This was the Gray Hulk.
Yeah, that was Brian's favorite. Brian, Mr. Fix-It tangled with Frank Castle a lot, and so did he messed with Wolverine a lot too. So I think the Gray Hulk is probably my favorite Hulk too, because he's lower strength, he's got more of a personality, and he's the one that would slide into Mr. Fix-It.
You see that page?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Bam. Right in there. 1988. That was, whew. I was in the 6th grade when this book came out. That was crazy. Yeah. That was a fantastic comic. Yeah, just, seeing that, the Dale Keown run, I was just impressed of you had the Punisher in that run, came in, Hulk was fighting these huge robots. I mean, it was something else to see that. Yeah, that goes into having those runs. That brings me back to, one of the things that we had just first met 30 years plus, long time ago, when I went to my first comic book store, and you the one that told me that they actually existed. And I remember sitting in class, and we had these guys that bring comic books in, and we talk about where they got. That's why I learned about Image Comics, seeing Youngblood #1, X-Force #1, Spawn #1, the whole Image craze. But going back and just remembering those times when you got them off the shelf. But the one thing that I talk about is these runs on these books. Who had the most famous runs, like the comic. Okay, for the viewers that don't know me or us well, we all collect comic books for different reasons. Some of us collect them for the stories and the writers that's involved, and interpretations you're going to get. We talk about all these storylines that X-Men movies could pull from. Well, these runs were done by several different artists and several different writers that we've all come to love and come to hate over the years. And I collect comic books for the artists because I am an artist. So I could tell you runs that people have had that on titles that you didn't even know they did an interpretation of that character or characters. They had a run on this book, and I followed them. So I pick up the books. But when I think about that, going to the comic book store, I made it a thing where, every city that I go to, every town I go to, I'm old school. I'll Google Map and find out the closest comic shop and just go give it a whirl and see what I can find and try to, find something, dig up. James is a proponent of that, where we go out and check out their dollar bins or their back issues. I think all comic book shops, no matter how limited, you have to have older books in your store to carry these new books. Because I can tell you right now, if I had a 10 book minimum or 8 book minimum, it'd be hard to fill a subscription box at my local comic shop, because there's not 8 or 10 titles that I collect consistently enough where I would buy them in and out, month in, month out. So a lot of the books that I buy are back issues, and I reread those books. There's some books that were so good that I have multiple copies of because I thought they were so good. And I have some that I've never opened or took in the plastic or the poly bags off, because I have issue where I've opened it up and read it several times and wore the cover out. Some of the books that my dad bought me from 7-Eleven have been put in bags and boards and never been opened. I have some of the older ones where the covers were torn off because I used to trace them. But what I'm getting at is if you have a comic book store, you should have at least one box of older comics or 1,000 boxes of older comics. I love you, boy, and buy more from you. But you have to have some of these well-known runs in your store to support your business, support your readers, support your customers.
I don't know, man. As a guy who used to work in a store, I don't know if I agree with your point on that one, man. Like, man, how exactly do you get those well-known runs if you're a comic shop?
They come out of your own comics, or you buy it from other people.
Yeah, but no, I'm not. Look, as a store owner, I'm not going out of my way to buy a run of quote-unquote key issues from the Wolverine saga to stay as dead stock to get cherry-picked in my shop. If I'm going to put one together, I'm going to put it together as a run, and I'm going to sell it as a package, or I'm going to flip that on eBay. You got to remember that back issues were the stuff that didn't sell, or the stuff that we bought when we bought out somebody else's collection when they were on hard times, and they gave you the, "Hey, I'm sorry, I can't afford this anymore" conversation, or they died and their family needed help with money. So, but like stocking back issues for the sake of having them for people, like nah, that's not my vocabulary, man. Like, if you got them, great. But I'm not going to stock my back issues like I'm stocking a pond for you to fish from. That goes against the whole thrill of the hunt, anyways. You know, you. Well, I mean,
my thing is if you're trying to refer somebody or turn somebody onto some of these runs of these books and these stories have been out of print in trade paperback, so you can't get them in graphic novel form to read them all at once.
I mean, but I'm not going to spend. Comics are such a low yield cash business that most stores can't afford to just come out of pocket to stock a bunch of back issue bins hoping you're going to come in and go fish out some books. And if they were going to do that, the markup would be so high you wouldn't want to get it anyways. Go to mycomicshop.com for that kind of action. So back issue, I agree that every store should have some back issue bins, but those back issue bins should be a roadmap of that store's lifetime. Those were the books that they ordered properly or improperly that didn't sell, that got remaindered in their back issues. And if they know what they're doing, they know how to flip the wrong ones down into the 50-cent bins and the dollar bins. They know how to flip some of the good ones off on the internet to keep the lights running, and leave enough remaindered behind that people are willing to fish through their bins. So I think if I walk into a store and they don't have any back issues, I'm like, you suck. But if I walk into a store and they have a ton of back issues, or they're stocking runs, I'm like, this is a front for money laundering. How do you get so much money that you can do that? Like, most comic shops can't keep the lights on, let alone stock books so you can go fish from them.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying like going all out where you got to have 1 million boxes, but just have some specific runs to refer to. You get people, hey, I want to reread, or I want to read about this Flash character that everybody's talking about.
If I bought a collection and I got my dude in the back room, I'd say, yeah, put that run out. We'll tell people it's there. But I'm not going to go out of my way to fill holes in a collection or a run that's sitting in my back issue bin.
I ain't mean
it's dead. Back issue bins are dead stock for the store. It makes sense for a store to have dead stock when their stock didn't sell. But I'm not going to stock dead stock. It don't make no sense. It didn't come out as it's out of stock trade paperback. Write a letter to Marvel. You know, it's like, I just think that I think that would ruin, if every store did what you said, it would ruin the thrill of the hunt and back issue diving. And it would probably take a lot of stores down in the process, just because stores just can't afford it. They don't have the space for it. They don't have the extra capital for it.
Yeah. I don't know. To each his own. I like going into a store and being able to find some stuff. Now, every store ain't going to have the stock or the room to store that stuff. But, I mean, it's if you can't make it out to the comic conventions, check your comic stores. You never know what you're going to find, is what I'm getting at. But I mean, yeah, a lot of times you're not going to find it on the store level of some of the stuff that the books that we talked about today. Your average store is not going to have that, now, especially your chain stores.
I'm
You're
with
going
you.
to have to go online,
I'm
or
with
you're
you.
going to have to go. You're going to have to know how to look for them at comic conventions, and even when you find them at comic conventions, you want to haggle and talk them down. You find that same Amazing Spider-Man issue, you may see it for $50 or $60, but I'm sure somebody else in that comic convention may have it for a little bit cheaper than that. Or you can play the line, run the table, and see what you can find at a better value, and do your research. A lot of people that are veterans that try to fill in their holes in their collections, they do their research and know what they're going prices for. You're not going to go in there and try to find Deathlock and Spider-Man team up, and some guy's selling it for $95 when the average price guide or eBay price is averaging only 35. You got to be
I think
crazy.
the sad thing
Unless
is
it's
that the 90s were so hard on so many stores that there aren't many stores left that would have a lifetime that would allow them to have that book naturally in their back issues.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the the Image Marvel Death of Superman speculation that went on, it broke the back of so many comics retailers back then, and times haven't been a lot better since. You got to figure not so many years after that, you had Marvel trying to break from Diamond with their Heroes Unlimited thing that was a total failure, also screwed over retailers, and then now what we're looking at, so Diamond became a monopoly on comics distribution for all of North America, South America, and Europe. That wasn't good for the health of the industry either. So, and I think the industry is probably still trying to find its footing now that Diamond has gone out of the picture.
Yeah, that is true. Trying to keep themselves afloat.
You got any last rounds, man? I think we're really pushing our time on this episode.
I'm good, dude.
I guess we need to throw it to Patreon.
You can always check us out on Patreon, where we post each episode an update so you always know what is going on with the show. If you like the show and you want to help us keep the lights on while you are there, you can become patron. For as low as $2 a month, you can become a league member, and that will give you access to exclusive pre-show and post-show content each week, as well as the retro movie reviews. Or for just a little bit more, at $5 a month, you can become a Power League member, getting pre-show, post-show, retro reviews, a discount code for our merch store, and a producer credit in each and every episode. That's patreon.com/secret identities. Put it in your search bar, look for it in the show notes, or find it with the rest of our links with our Linktree QR code.
Real quick?
Yeah. Yep.
And also, we want to give special thanks to our Power League members supporter for, I guess this would be the
12th
episode, but it's the 11th week in a row. She started in episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. Hazy Eyed Girl, special thanks to you. A late addition. We also want to thank our new Power League member, iRock Z Reaper. Thank you. We really appreciate the support. What's that?
Somebody's gonna come in and take her award when she gets to the 99th one. They're gonna swoop in. Like, who is this? We got a new member.
Yeah, we special thanks to Hazy Eyed Girl for all the support. We love it. And
we won't. She'll always be our number one.
And remember, on Patreon you have the pre-show every week. You have the reviews that from now on will go exclusively to the Patreon behind the paywall. But you don't have to be a paid member to watch the show on Patreon. Just want to make that clear. The show is available on Patreon for everyone, a day earlier. You don't have to pay for that. So I think Nick actually joined as a free member on Patreon last week. Got some good talk back from him. By the way, we really appreciate the talk back on all the platforms. It really makes it worthwhile to have people interacting with us. We really appreciate it when you do it. And it just, we love what we do because we're going to have these conversations regardless. So, it's nice to have you guys involved. And our whole intention for the show wasn't to be a news show, wasn't to be a review show. We're supposed to have conversations like you would have with other people in a comic shop. So that's what we do every week. We're not focusing on fitting to one genre. We're not trying to be your news channel. That'll happen. We'll give you some news, but we love this stuff. We want to talk about it, and the more people that want to talk with us, the better. So, yeah, Nick dropped a serious knowledge bomb about the Spiderman that I was talking about last week and how it influenced the creation of the Power Rangers. So I was like, hey, we do Power Rangers or Legend of the White Dragon. You got to come on and help us out. But again,
thank you for that.
End of another week. It's been a fun conversation, and we got more fun in store. I don't know what we're doing next, actually.
We got some good stuff coming.
Yeah, we got some things cooking. We just haven't decided what we're going to do our next thing for,
Yeah.
Now, we haven't made a determination yet. I actually have some work travel coming next week. I may be able to record while I'm on travel, but that remains to be seen. We may record an episode in advance, so that'll fill that gap. We don't know yet. So if we go dark for a week, don't count us out. We'll be back.
Indeed. We will be back.
Have a good night, guys.
Later.
Remember, if you want to contact us, you can reach us by email. secretidentitiesmedia@gmail.com. Contact at secret-identities.com. Or on any of our socials, secret_identities_media on Instagram, sec_ident_media on X Twitter, secret_identities_pod on TikTok, or just search Secret Identities on Facebook. You can find links for these in the show notes wherever you found us, on the title card at the end of the show, or just scan the QR code on your screen for our link tree